Hey all, this is Kev, your friendly local electrician serving Medway Maidstone, and I want to talk a little bit about our silky smooth fuse box upgrade service. So with fuse board upgrades, it tends to come about where an installation doesn't have an RCD. That's the main prominent concern, problem that gets solved by upgrading the fuse box. The fuse boxes we install, absolutely 100%, we fully recommend. Obviously metal board 18th edition regs, RCBOs 18th edition regs. Now RCBOs, back in the day 10-20 years ago, you'd have one RCD and the rest would be breakers inside your fuse box. Now the problem is, any one of these circuits, they're all protected by this RCD. If any one of these circuits, your light circuit, socket circuit, cooker circuit, any of them had an issue, your RCD would drop and you'd lose the power to the entire place. RCBOs give you redundancy, so every single circuit has its own individual RCD, such that if one circuit has an issue, it's just that circuit that drops. It's the only one. So you might lose your one lighting circuit, or you might lose one socket circuit, and then all of a sudden it's not a major drama. You haven't got to get an emergency sparky out to come and sort it out at probably super high costs, given that it's an emergency and you need them there ASAP because your freezer's defrosting, or you can't work from home, or what have you. You've got no lights and it's pitch black in the middle of winter. So the boards, metal board, RCBO loaded, comes with an SPD. SPD's lightning protection. But anyone that knows of anyone that lives in the Churchill Avenue or Wayfield Road areas of Chatham, the summer just gone, that was 23, they had a massive transient over voltage spike, which blew up TVs, washing machines, anything electronic, which is most things these days, probably phones, tablets, etc, fridges, freezers. A lot of them got blew up because they weren't protected by an SPD, which essentially takes the hit whenever there's a big spike in voltage, which is what happened to those guys. I think they had a week power outage. UKPN, I believe, they had to go through every single house as part of the thing, powering down, checking all the houses to make sure it wasn't a house or whether it was a cable in the road. I do believe there were like food wagons in the middle of the road for all the families to be able to get food from, because they couldn't cook or anything. It was complete like power outage madness. Anyway, SPDs are for transient voltages, lightning strike protection. They take the hit instead of your expensive white goods and electronic equipment. So they're the boards. That's the physical product that you end up on the wall with. And if we're upgrading to RCD because you haven't already got an RCD, you might have heard of the term RCD nuisance tripping. You know, it's been a right nightmare. It flicks whenever it wants. So RCDs are so much more sensitive, and that's why they're required these days. They're so much more sensitive compared to an old school breaker or your old rewirable fuses. So the old school breakers or the rewirable fuses, they were really there to protect the cable from melting and burning the place down. They weren't there to protect us as, you know, living, breathing creatures of the planet. You know, you could quite easily on those breakers, and I don't recommend this, by the way, but grabbing hold of something live, that'll just keep pumping because it thinks you're just an electric heater essentially. It'll keep pumping. It'll know any difference. Won't know any difference. RCDs are there, and they're the special mechanism, and they're meant to be super sensitive, such that they trip out before. Essentially, if you're touching something or something does go live that isn't meant to be, either the time is reduced to below the threshold that we can take a bit of a hit from a spike, a little buzz, or it shuts off before the current gets too high within the threshold, lower than the threshold that we can take that. So yeah, that's that. Now the reason I'm telling you this is if we're upgrading a board to RCD and it's never been RCD'd before, there could be small little issues, little niggles that have been sat there for years, and these breakers, they're a little bit too dumb to realise. They're not overly worried about these little niggles because they're not sensitive. They're only protecting the cables, not like humans or you know, pets or whatnot. So you could quite easily, if you just go for a board upgrade, have this thing where you've got a not great installation with a couple of niggles. You upgrade it to the super sensitive RCD. You know, your electrician fits it, he starts flicking them all on, and all of a sudden 2 of them will keep dropping. You know, it's getting late in the afternoon. You're wondering when you're going to be able to start, you know, cooking your dinner. He's wondering what's going on, and now he's got to try and find out what's the problem that's causing all this. The way we set this up is we do a health check on the electrics before we do the board upgrade. This is all about, it's really about customer experience, really. And for us, we want a smooth sailing, super slick board upgrade. And the way you can do that is to have a health check on the electrics up front before you do the board change. And that will highlight any issues going forward before the board upgrade that could end up causing dramas on the board upgrade day. Besides being little niggles that are going to affect the board upgrade itself, they're probably safety issues that need sorting anyway. So that's how we present it. That's how we do it. We do the health check on the electrics first. That's quoted up front. We'll do the health check on the electrics. We'll try and do the quick wins if you look on the videos on the EICR's health checks on electrics. Once we're happy that it's good to go, we'll then quote you for the fuse board upgrade. I'm sure we'll give you a good estimate on what the fuse board itself is going to cost to change. And that is how we make it super slick. We tend to do it over 2 days, so we're not rushing to get the health checks done, the remedials done if needed, and then we're doing a board change straight on top on the same day. I don't know about you, but I don't particularly like rushing an awful lot, especially when it comes to big things with board upgrades. You know, the power is going to be off for a good couple of hours anyway. We don't want any real risk of something going mishap when you've got freezers that need to be plugged in, you need to get your dinner on, etc, etc, etc. So that's how we do it. Feel free to inquire. You know, we're always happy to help, give you advice and stuff. We're always happy to come down, do a works discussion visit, and give you pointers, etc. So yeah, that's us. Enough of my waffling. All the best, Kev.